All right, let's get into it. We're going to take a deep dive into one of the most incredible feats of engineering on the planet, the Burkett offshore oil rig. We're talking about how this absolute monster of the sea was even built, how it works, and maybe most importantly, how it survives in one of the harshest places on Earth.
When you see it from far away, it's almost kind of boring looking. Its name, Burkett, actually means golden eagle. But as you can see from this quote, it really does look more like a giant, sleepy pigeon. But you should not let that fool you for a single second.
Because that pigeon weighs a mind-blowing 200,000 tons. I mean, to give you some perspective, that's heavier than 3 Titanics put together. It is a genuine monster just hiding there in plain sight.
Now, to really get a handle on this thing, you have to understand where it lives. We're headed 15 miles off the coast of Russia's Sakhalin Island, right into the middle of the brutal Sea of Okhotsk. Seriously, it's one of the most remote and hostile environments you can imagine, which makes the fact that this platform even exists all the more incredible.
Yeah, just getting to Burkett is a mission in itself. A 40-minute helicopter ride can turn into a days-long or even weeks-long waiting game. The fog out there is legendary. It can ground everything. You could be a worker, finished with your shift, and get stranded on the platform way longer than you ever planned. So that begs the question, right? How on earth do you build a 200,000-ton behemoth in a place like that? Well, the short answer is you don't. You build it somewhere else, and you bring it in.
The entire thing was put together like the world's heaviest, most complicated piece of IKEA furniture. First, they built this massive concrete base in Russia and then towed it over 1,200 miles. Once it was in the right spot, they flooded it and sank it to the ocean floor. Then, they took the entire topside, this 6-story high-tech city built all the way over in South Korea, and just plopped it right on top. Absolutely wild.
Okay, so Burkett's very skeleton is designed to literally fight back against nature, starting with the ice. We're talking about sea ice that can be 6 feet thick. It used to just rip the steel defenses right off of older platforms. The designers of Burkett learned from that and built this integrated belt of super durable concrete that just can't be torn off. It's part of the bone structure.
And then there's its other defense, which is just brilliant, and this is for earthquakes. The whole platform sits right on a tectonic fault line, so to survive, it has these things called sliding bearings. Think of them like giant knee joints. When an earthquake hits, the whole top of the platform can actually slide back and forth, absorbing the shock from a quake up to a massive magnitude 9. So, we've seen the skeleton, right? The bones are good. Now let's get to the parts that actually make this monster come alive. We're moving from the raw structure to the living, breathing systems that make it all work.
Welcome to the brain of the operation. From this one room, every single vital sign, every pump, every single valve, all the pressure gauges is watched 24/7. The operators stare at these screens like doctors reading a heartbeat, making sure the entire 200,000-ton patient is healthy.
And if that's the brain, then the drilling floor is its incredibly powerful beating heart. This is where the real mission happens. And this process is so precise, so complex, people have actually compared it to spaceflight. They're pushing steel pipes for miles straight down into the earth and then steering them sideways to hit these tiny pockets of oil.
But here's the thing that's so cool. For all of that insane complexity, controlling this multi-mile-long drill, it comes down to a single joystick. And it only has 4 commands: higher, lower, faster, and slower. That's it. It is just a masterclass in making the complicated simple.
Of course, when you're dealing with this much raw power and incredible pressure, things can go very, very wrong. And that's why this rig needs what you can basically call an advanced immune system. It has layers upon layers of failsafes designed for the absolute worst-case scenarios you can think of.
So the first line of defense is this one big red button. You press this, and it triggers a total emergency shutdown. Every machine grinds to a halt, all the wells are sealed, the entire platform just freezes. Pressing that button costs millions of dollars in lost time. And get this, in its entire history, it has never, ever been used.
But what if the problem isn't on the platform itself? What if the real danger is coming from deep underground, at the well? Well, that's when the next layer of the immune system kicks in. It's a device called the preventer.
Okay, just picture a giant industrial-strength guillotine. If there's an out-of-control pressure surge coming up from the well, 2 massive knives made of high-strength steel just slam shut,
instantly slicing right through the thick steel pipe. It sacrifices the equipment to permanently plug the well and stop a disaster before it can start. And honestly, these systems are just scratching the surface of the rig's immune system. You've got the instant shutdown button, the preventer we just talked about, flexible pipes to handle earthquakes, an armored control room, and enough lifeboats for the whole crew. Everything is built with safety and redundancy in mind.
But look, Burkett isn't just a cold machine. It's also a home. It has to be. It's basically a self-sufficient, floating city for the crew of almost 240 people who keep this entire monster running around the clock.
And what's really amazing is just how much they pack into this tiny space. You're looking at an area that's only about the size of 1.5 soccer fields. And on it, you've got the drilling complex, a whole oil refinery, living quarters, a chemical facility, and its very own power plant that generates enough juice to light up half a city.
Now, in this world of insane technology and high-stakes operations, what do you think the most important place on the entire platform is? It's not the control room. It's not the drill floor. It's the dining room. It's the social heart of the rig, the one place where the whole crew comes together to eat, relax, and just be human.
And here's a funny detail. Despite being surrounded by one of the richest seas on the planet, you are not going to find fresh crab or scallops on the menu. The food is simple, it's safe, and it's packed with calories. We're talking meatballs, pasta, that kind of stuff. It's designed for one purpose and one purpose only, to fuel the crew for incredibly demanding physical labor.
The Burkett platform is, without a doubt, a modern marvel. It's proof of what we can build when we're pushed to the absolute limit. But its story already has an end date written in. Its life cycle is designed to run out in 2050. And that leaves us with a really big question. When this monster finally retires, what kind of engineering marvels will we need to build next?